Have you ever been on a project, planned a project, or part of a team, and things aren't going smooth? You feel lost. It just maybe feels like there isn't any cohesive direction, and maybe you just feel like, I wish I could be more helpful. I think we've all probably been there a time or two. I think it's interesting to wonder, is it that it's not creative? The team isn't working together? You don't really know what to do? Or maybe is it that we haven't done enough work to make the successful project happen? I believe that more importantly than creativity, it's sharing information that leads to the most successful projects. It's the time that I take before we ever film anything, that we plan things out, and I think that's what makes things the best. So what I want to talk today about is production books. And what is a production book? Why would you make one? And why are they important? This isn't something we've always done. This is something that we've naturally got to, that's evolved from, just showing up and shooting and hoping for the best, to literally structuring out our days as close to a T as possible. Production books is just a document. It's the executable plan of the day. Everyone does this a little bit differently. I'm not saying everyone has to do these, but at the base level, it is shared information with client, with crew, with myself, with talent, with anyone involved in a project. It's always going to have, the project overview, the location or locations that we're going to shoot at, the date that we're shooting, and then a general schedule, what we're trying to achieve for the day. Putting all those things into a document, makes it real. One of the key things here is that we're showing our work. It's really easy for clients to get excited about production because you're on set, you're with the lights, you're with the cameras, you're making, you're creating. And in pre-production, technically we're making and creating too. I think clients have a hard time understanding pre-production because a lot of the work isn't shown. But as soon as you make one of these documents and you put this plan down into a document that you can read, now you've shown your work. You've shown this is what this looks like. I've put a lot of time and effort and energy into your project because I care about it. It's easy to complain and say well, they didn't see me charge all the batteries and prep all this and load up and go to this place and pick up these rentals and talk to my team and get them on the same page. When you do put something in a document, you make it real. You take it from this idea, literally, now it's into an executable plan that has accountability, that, hey, I've scheduled out the day. There's multiple things going on. If this gets behind in the beginning, then it puts these later things behind in the beginning. And you said you want to make this idea. Well, I'm trying to make this idea, and this is the plan to make it. You also have to consider this isn't just about scheduling your time. This is about scheduling all these parties' time together. That's aligning a lot of people's schedules. Having it on paper makes it real, makes it accountable, and usually creates a more successful project. If we think about what a production book can do, further than a pretty piece of paper, it's a pre-visualization tool. It's me taking the time to think about this in the edit and then reverse engineering a project. And when I do that, I start to think about okay, for this scene, it's going to take this lighting, it's going to take this motion. So I start to think about the tools, the people, the space, and about the client, how much time everything takes. I also start to see some of the problems. And I'm starting to already build the language and the communication and even the talking points with my team. We start to save time. We start to see, more creativity happen in these scenes. Now, if you start to look for your team, the biggest thing is it's empowering them to do the best job possible. If, as someone who's assisting a production and I don't have all the information, I don't know how I can best serve you. As a producer, what's going to make my team the best? How are we going to maximize our time, which makes the best impression on our clients? Now, on the client side, more than anything, we're showing them the work. And we're earning trust. We're earning that credibility that we're people who know how to plan. We're people who take your work serious. That to me is so fundamentally important. I think it's totally fair for someone to spend a lot of money and to be concerned that something's going to get done, especially if they've never done anything like this before. If we do these sort of things, we might start to ease some of that. We might start to take the defense down. So it's being proactive and thinking through what's the impact of this document. And then lastly, if you're working with any kind of talent, to be able to have the conversation of here's all the scenes, here's everything we need you for. Our job is to make things as simple and as easy as possible so people are willing to show up. And I don't want it to be a big waste of anyone's time. All in all, once you've done all this, once you've considered yourself, once you've considered your team, once you've considered, the client, the talent, and anyone else involved, what you've really done now through a document is you've created alignment. You've created that information for everyone to be on the same page. That's when the best projects happen. You create that well-oiled machine. As creatives, why don't we start to think about like, where are some of the areas in business or in our projects that need to be taken care of a little bit better? When I started doing production books, it was really looking at like, how could I save the most time? How could I make the biggest project? And I thought in preparation to projects, I can do more work. And I know it's that investment of time that's actually helped us level our company up and build the next best thing. I hope you got something out of this. I'd love it if you'd like, share, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. If there's any other questions, please feel free to reach out, comment. Thanks again. See ya.